This is my second time filming this video. The first time I filmed it, my microphone wasn't synced to my camera, so I filmed the entire 30-minute video without any audio. So if I come off really pissed off and aggravated in this video, you're just going to have to excuse me because I'm actually pissed off right now. It's no secret that many people have been losing faith in the college/university system. A concept ingrained into our society is that going to college or pursuing some form of higher education increases your chances of upward socioeconomic mobility. It provides you with a more stable career and overall promotes a better quality of life. Generally, since its inception, it has proven to do just that. However, recently, much evidence indicates that a college degree may be losing its worth. Some indicators have been the crippling debt that it leaves students with after they finish, its diminishing value amongst employers. Many CEOs, many managers, they say that when students leave college, they enter the labor market without the necessary skills, without any of the hard skills and or soft skills, mainly the soft skills that are needed to promote growth in their careers, things that they need to be better employees and potentially, better managers and executives and so forth. All these issues and quite a bit more have sparked this argument around college and university and pursuing higher education, and it has led many people to believe that college is just...
It's all a scam. It's all a scam.
I've been looking forward to making this video for many years now because there were moments in my school years where I was really doubting the value of the education that I was receiving. I was doubting whether or not going to college and studying all these hours, taking 30 units a year, doing all of this, I doubted if this, doing all the whole college thing, was it even worth my time? Was it worth it in the end? So now, considering that I just finished my degree, I will present my stance on this debate. Now, like I said, there are many things that I can talk about regarding my experience with college and, the university system in whole. However, to give this video structure and to keep myself organized so this video is not extremely long, I'm only going to focus on 4 key areas. 1, educational development. 2, personal development. 3, social development. 4, career readiness. There are more areas I could address, of course, such as cost, campus resources, instructors, and all the other systemic and institutional corruption that takes place. But like I said, for the sake of time, and since I'm already upset, I don't want to have to do all this over again. I'm just going to focus on those 4 key areas. If this video does well and, it gets highly requested that I do a part 2 and dive into more of the other issues, then I'll go ahead and make another video addressing any of those other issues. But without wasting any more time, so we can just get straight to it, let's start by looking at the first category, educational development. Right away, I wanted to address this aspect of the college experience because it is essential when pursuing higher education. The purpose of going to college, university, pursuing any form of higher education is the education itself. So when you're a student, or maybe if you're not a student, you're an adult, you've been working in your industry for a while and you're thinking about maybe getting a master's, PhD, whatever it is, you're pursuing some form of higher education. The education is the most important aspect. When you look for schools, the most important thing you need to look for is obviously how much does it cost, and 2, what are the programs that the school offers, what are the courses, what are the curriculum, what are the instructors like, how are these classes rated, and are these classes aligned with your career or your potential career. So when you're looking at a school, I have to urge everybody, this is the most important thing. I know a lot of people look at the school and you look at how beautiful the campus is, you look at all of the clubs and all of the activities, sports, whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, the education part of it is it is the most critical, because all the other stuff, yes, it's fun, it makes the college experience great, you have a good time, you can make memories, take pictures, do videos, whatever you want to do. But if you walk away from the school and you had a ball and you went to parties, you went to football games and everything else, but you walk away from it and you don't have any additional information that you didn't have before, it's pointless, okay? This is one of the more prominent arguments brought up when assessing a college's value. The education, the instructors, the curriculum, the courses. And Honestly, from my experience, right, I went to a Cal Polytechnic, which is a top ranked university in the state of California, and my education was pretty meh. Much of the material was recycled from previous years and sometimes even decades. Many professors were unenthused, and under some circumstances, I can understand. Teaching is a very challenging job. It's a very underpaid and unappreciated profession, and all of those things coupled together that make up an instructor. The main thing that is important when you have a teacher is how enthusiastic they are about teaching. If a teacher is not enthusiastic about teaching, the students aren't going to be engaged in the class, therefore nobody's going to learn anything. But again, this can be presented in an entirely different video because, the underpay of teachers and the lack of appreciation for teachers and whatever, that's more of an institutional, systemic issue that has nothing to do, well, it has something to do with the education because it obviously affects students if the teachers aren't engaged in teaching properly, but we're not going to get into all of that. Your education will vary widely depending on your major. I majored in international business and marketing, and I got a minor in supply chain management and international logistics. And like I said, my education was meh. 90% of what I learned in my courses, I honestly could have learned in books, different marketing books. I could have read different articles and different books about logistics and supply chain and business in general. But like I said, that was just me. And then from my experience, I always prioritize more practical knowledge. What can I learn that is going to actually be useful to me when I enter into the workforce, or I enter into a career, or I enter into something that revolves around what it is that I'm studying? I don't really care about the theory so much. Obviously, the theories are important as well because you have to have both. You have to have theoretical knowledge to know what it is that you're talking about, but I always prioritize the practical knowledge because the theories and all that, you can pick that up later. But really understanding how something works more so than understanding what it is, to me, is more valuable. But like I said, this segment, it will vary. The education you receive will vary widely depending on your school, where you go, your major. I have friends who are engineers and future medical professionals. They majored in engineering, majored in biology, different sciences and whatnot, architecture, and they all say that their education helped them along the way, which obviously makes sense. Engineering, there's a lot of mathematical concepts and models that you have to know, a lot of theories that you need to know. Same thing with medicine, right? Biology, you need to know human anatomy and all the different terminology and things like that. So obviously it would make sense for them that their education would be valuable given what they went to school for. However, like I said, the education was meh for me, and for a lot of people I know that there felt a sense of lacklusterness and a sense of wanting more, feeling like they didn't really get their money's worth out of their education. And the places where, like I said, I think I received the most value from college and my college experience was outside the education, but I will address that in the other areas in this video momentarily. So overall, I would give the educational development aspect of college a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. Like I said, this is for me. It all depends on where you go. All right. So with that being said, I would like to segue right into the second category, which is personal development. Now we are moving on to personal development, and it should come as no surprise, but attending college, university, it will build your character, right? You will go through some sort of personal development, personal growth as you start college, and when you finish, you will definitely come out as a different person. Now, how drastic that change will be, that varies amongst every individual, but in most circumstances, you will not be the same person you were when you entered, when you exit. Many people, particularly younger people, when they get right out of high school and they enter college, they feel like they just traveled back to the roaring 20s. There's parties, everything's just completely brand new. It's this rush, this sensation of independence, freedom. There's girls everywhere. For girls, there's guys everywhere. There's parties, fun, everything's great. However, as soon as that initial honeymoon phase wears off and the real responsibilities set in, like course load, tuition, fees, living expenses, and many of the other woes that befall a growing adult. This overwhelming happiness, that rush of sensation that they felt when they first entered, and all the independence and all the fun, all of that is quickly replaced with,
I'm not happy. I hate it here.
college allows students to be independent and take responsibility for their affairs. If there's an issue with financial aid, your class schedule, or other personal circumstances that conflict your schooling, your education, it is up to the student to set up meetings with the supporting staff and get their issues resolved. Having to deal with these problems will be different, but somewhat similar to what students will face after they finish and they enter into their careers. When you're in your career and there's issues in the office, there's issues on site, it's going to be your responsibility to meet with whatever your superior is, or if you're the superior and there's an issue with your staff, it's going to be up to you to make meetings with, said staff to get these issues resolved. So giving students this sort of stepping stone to where they realize that they have to be proactive and they have to be the ones who set up these meetings and constantly keep a watchful eye over their own affairs. I think this is a very, very beneficial part of what college can do for students and how it contributes to the personal growth and the personal development of students and people as they move their way throughout the university system. I don't have much to say on this category, considering personal development varies by individual. However, each person, like I said, entering the university system will develop, will change, will grow once they are finished. Overall, I would give this category of, the whole college experience a 5 out of 5. And honestly, amongst some of the other categories here, this would be my most powerful argument if I was to argue in favor of someone going to college. And if someone was to come to me and ask me, should I go? What is the purpose? What is the benefit of me going? How you grow as a person and how college is going to change you, all of the hardships, all of the successes, everything that you're going to experience as you make your way throughout the system, the college system, your schooling, whatever, your degree. All of that is why I would advocate for someone to go to school. People can argue and that getting a job, entering the labor market, entering the workforce, all of that will provide an individual with the same personal development that I'm speaking of, and that honestly it would more than likely be a better alternative than to, shelling over thousands of dollars and doing all of these things, right, by going to college. And I would say it's a fair argument. This is not a defensive video where I'm establishing my stance and I'm saying, yes, go, go, go. I absolutely love it. This is more of an opinion piece, and this is just more of an anecdotal piece of me sharing my experiences and offering my opinion based on those experiences as why I would or would not, what areas that I believe are or are not valuable enough that would make me advocate for somebody to go to college. Even after finishing, I still have mixed feelings about my experience, about, the worth of it all. But overall, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm done now. I finished it, and my loans and everything are about to hit. I got to pay them, and it's going to be paid, and that is what it is. So whatever way I feel about it, it's already over. And yeah, I'm not, like I said, this category, I don't really have much to say on it. It's personal development. So I just want to go quickly into the next category, which I believe is honestly one of the most significant categories, which is the third category, social development. This category seems like it can be related to the previous category, personal development, and in a way, it kind of can and it does. However, what I mean by social development is the development of social skills, things like cooperation, social responsibility, and the ability to understand others' perspectives. This, like I said, this is my most significant argument if I were to argue in favor of going to college. And this is something that I think that makes college extremely, extremely valuable, because colleges allow students to interact with a wide range of different people and different cultures. Everyone you meet in your class will have a different story, upbringing, culture, birthplace, thought processes, and you're going to be forced in a way, if you're not used to interacting with so many conflicting ideas, you're going to be forced to adapt. You're going to be forced to build up your level of tolerance because you're going to be put into group projects with these individuals. You're going to be put into classes. You might be put into dorms, right? Become roommates with these people. And it's going to force you to, even if you come across somebody who doesn't share that same thought process as you, values as you do, it's going to make you hear this person out, see where it is that they're coming from. And even if you don't agree with it still, even if you don't accept it, you are able to recognize that this is an individual who thinks, believes, feels whatever they feel. I have no right to tell them any different. They can feel whatever way they want to feel. I can feel whatever way I want to feel. You can respect their ideology. You can respect their values, respect their beliefs, and you guys both can keep it moving, be cooperative, and cohabitate in a space. And I think that is a valuable lesson that many people in society need to learn today. As you guys know, there's always a big dichotomy of just ideas. There's always just a clash between two sides and just this whole duality of everything. And a lot of people just don't want to be tolerant. They don't want to hear things out. It's either you're with me or you're against me sort of attitude. And with college, I feel like it makes students drop that sort of perspective if they had it before. Some people don't really go into it with that idea, but I know there are still people who have that sort of mentality, and it definitely makes you drop that and kind of ditch that way of thinking. I know, especially for me, not so much the whole ideologies and things like that, but having to work with people in groups. Not everybody works the same way I do. Not everybody thinks the same way that I think. So the way that I would go about handling a certain task or the way I would go about delegating task is not the same way another individual will go about delegating task. And I know it might seem like common sense. I know it might seem like it's something very simple, but at the same time, if you look out into the world today, you will come across many, many people who still struggle or still are quite upset when they come across somebody who isn't as efficient as they are, who doesn't think the same way that they do, who doesn't go about life in the same manner that they go about life, realizing that everybody's different, everybody has their own way they like to do things, and instead of looking at it and saying, okay, what can I do to make this situation work? What is it about myself that I have to change, or how do I adapt to fit this person's personality? It's always just either you're with me or against me. Either you do it my way or we do it no way. And there's always just this clash. So learning to engage and connect with people with different values or opinions is a crucial skill that colleges will provide students as they go throughout the system, as they, meet more people and move on throughout their college experience. So it might sound corny, but like I said, I have to give college just 2 big thumbs up for the whole social development aspect that it provides students as they move out through the university system. And obviously I would rate this category a 5 out of 5, similar to the last, personal development. If I could rate it a 6 out of 5, a 10 out of 5, I would. I think this is the most valuable thing that colleges provide students as they enter college. So that's all I have to say on that category. Let's quickly move through this. I know this video is getting quite long, so if you're still paying attention, you're still attentive, I want you to leave a comment down below and say hashtag W attention span. I appreciate you guys watching. And let's go on to the 4th category, which is career readiness. We have reached the final area that I would like to discuss. I know, right? Finally. I know this video is definitely getting long. There are many things I can say about the ability of college to produce career-ready individuals, and most of those things are not positive. To put it bluntly, colleges don't really prepare students for the workforce. They don't really get them prepared at all for the things that they are going to face in their everyday lives. Once they leave university, enter the job market, labor market, their industry, there is a complete just knowledge gap, skills gap, knowledge gap that students are left to fill on their own. Speaking anecdotally, right? I don't know why I'm making the distinction when this entire time I've been speaking in whatever. Many of the people I talk to struggle to perform the tasks that would be required of them of a managerial position or a junior level position. I'm speaking from my experience. Like I said, I was in marketing, right? So the tasks that were required of a junior level marketer or a senior level marketer or someone in a marketing position, many of the students in my classes all struggled with these tasks. Now, in my senior level marketing class, we had to do these exercises. And these exercises were not a part of our curriculum. Our professor just implemented them because he wanted to gauge just exactly where students were, where their skills were, by giving us real simulated exercises that we would face in a marketing level position. These exercises consisted of things like calculating contribution per unit, break-even units, break-even dollars, net volume needed to achieve a certain profit. Anybody who knows business marketing, you guys are familiar with these terms. If you're not, then it's just simple calculations, add, multiply, divide, based off of given values within, the business functions and business data. These tasks were difficult, like I said, for most students to perform, and I don't fault any of the students in my class for this. I don't fault anybody not in my class or whatever, anybody who wasn't prepared or they don't feel like they're prepared and who enter into the workforce with this skills gap. I don't fault them for this. This ties back into college, it ties back into the system, and it ties back obviously into the curriculum. The fact that students know what economies of scales are, they know what contribution per unit is, they know what break-even units in dollars is, they know what the concept is, but the fact that they cannot work those problems out when they're given real simulated exercises is very frightening, and it honestly just doesn't make any sense. And it shows that the prioritization is in the wrong place. The priority is we're constantly giving students in the curriculum definition, concept, theory, who made it, right? People can tell you what economies of scale are, and they can tell you who created it, right? Everybody can instantly raise their hand and who created economies of scale? Okay, that's based off Adam Smith and Invisible Hand and things like this. Competitive. They can tell you all these things and throw out all of these trivial facts, which, okay, cool, you know the concept. But when it comes to applying the concept in real world scenarios, that's when people draw a blank. And that's, like I said, back to what is prioritized. That isn't prioritized. If we prioritized those exercises that we did, and we only worked on those exercises for 2 weeks, and the only reason we worked on them for 2 weeks is because everybody struggled with them. We were probably only going to work on those exercises for a week at most, or a couple classes, but we ended up extending it because everybody struggled. This teaching method leads many students to feel unprepared when they enter their careers because they get into it not understanding any of the concepts, not understanding how to apply those things to the real world, how to engage in meetings, how to engage in their small group, how in their team to come up with practical solutions and actually be a contributing member to their team and to their company. Like I said, this is not the student's fault per se. I believe that most of the students that enter college, enter the university, they are intelligent, they are capable. So once they get thrown into the workforce and they recognize that they have this giant skills gap, over time as they adjust, they will adjust to their position, they will pick up and fill in that skills gap, and they will kind of get quickly acclimated. But obviously, what about those who struggle to adjust? What about those who still cannot fill in that skills gap because they just can't fill in the skills gap? They went through years of education, spent thousands and thousands of dollars, spent hours studying, went to all of their classes, paid attention, took notes, did whatever, but yet and still they didn't obtain any practical skills. They didn't obtain any useful skills that they would need in order to be successful and move up throughout their career. And overall, like I said, this is I think the most underperforming category amongst the entire college experience, amongst the entire university system. I would give this category a solid 2.5 out of 5, and that's me being very, very generous. I think colleges really should do more to prepare students for the workforce, and it starts with the curriculum. It starts with the information that you prioritize teaching students. I know this video was long. Thank you to everyone that watched this video all the way through. Like I said, I really appreciate it. I know in a time where we have TikTok and other short hyperspeed consumption type content, watching a video that is 25, 30 minutes long is not something people really want to do anymore. So if you have made it all the way through this video and you've watched the duration, you've watched the entire duration and you've been attentive the whole time, Thank you. I want you guys to leave a comment and say hashtag class of 2023. Again, I didn't want this video to be an hour long or hours long. I tried to condense 4 years of my experience and observations into a 20 to 30 minute video. If you're considering going to college, I hope this video will provide you with some additional information that you weren't aware of. I hope I didn't just sit here for 35 minutes and say a bunch of things that people already knew. So hopefully there is at least bits and pieces here that you can take and kind of, it will help you along your process in making the decision whether or not going to college, attending college, staying in school is the right decision for you. If you have any other questions or you would like to see other videos from me, leave your suggestions in the comments section. I will do my best to respond to all comments. Like I said, this video is already way too long. And yeah, goodbye.
Money will love you. Your family.